frustrated on Friday that there was so little information after the 4.5 meeting. But today it seems like you're cautiously okay. Am I reading that right? And what changed?
You're absolutely reading it right, because the Trump audacity said we made great progress, but he didn't give any example whatsoever. So was that just Trump BS, or did they really make progress? Today, it seems, based on what Witkoff has said over the weekend, what Trump said before the press today, that Putin maybe, just maybe, has agreed to meaningful security guarantees for Ukraine to prevent a restart of Russian aggression. He hasn't been specific on that, but he has agreed in principle to allowing the West to provide such security guarantees. If that happens, that is a major, major step forward to achieving peace. We don't know if it's going to happen. And Europe, the assembled people in Europe speaking before the press, before they went private, showed more unity than I've ever seen in such gatherings in terms of European unity, not only in their aspirations of peace. They didn't moralize for peace today. They demonstrated the willingness to put their money and their treasure and their military, as weak as it may be, to put that on the table and join with boots on the ground and money in the bank to sustain strong, it won't be NATO guarantees, but NATO-like guarantees between individual European nations and Ukraine, and maybe the United States. So with that progress, that glimmer, that opening up of very interesting possibilities, I'm far more optimistic today than I was after watching that disastrous press conference last Friday. You understand what I'm trying to say, Scarlett?
Yes, sir. All right. I think this has been a great room. All rooms have to last an hour. Short and sweet. We'll make it work too. And more people might be tempted to listen to a 20-minute room than an hour long or 2 hour long room. So thank you for hosting today, and I look forward to your room tomorrow.
Okay, great. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and close the room, guys, and you guys take care, and I'll probably open it back up tomorrow and see what takes place.
It's not that they want their tits at football matches. I think that the women want to just like have their hair out. My question is for Scotty. Scotty, do you wear a hijab?
No, but look, Ewan, while that's a normal sentiment from Iranian women, at the end of the day, no one's.
You wear it.
I know, that's a weird question to ask.
Stupid.
If you're gonna troll, at least be funny, man.
You're not funny, bro. You're not funny.
What color is
Oh no. Okay.
It's right here. You're waiting on that.
I'm waiting on it. I think they're
They're thirsty this year. They keep calling me.
Did you go last
if
year?
I want to buy packages. I've been both years.
Be an online friend to be concerned.
Look at who's in the audience. So this is a perfect example as to what I'm talking about. Stop talking about it.
He's raised his hand to speak. You have exactly 60 seconds to say what you have to say. It better not be rude or out of line, or you will be dropped. So go ahead. 60 seconds.
Sure, I'd like to take this 60 seconds by reading a little poem from the Tao Te Ching.
No.
We are showing.
What's up, Josh? Well,
What's up?
What up,
yeah,
gentlemen?
Busy, man. So I haven't been speaking for the last hour. I've been super busy doing stuff, but
Shlomi said something that I didn't understand what he said. I'm so curious to know. I don't know if you heard, but
no, I didn't hear anything, man. Been too busy, like I said. What do you think he said?
I don't know, because I was like, this reality is absurd. The world needs to help Israel because this is an abusive existence.
You know that, right?
Dude, Romney care in Massachusetts was the same thing as Obamacare. It was like the same fucking thing.
Victoria. Lala, do you get a lot of value out of trolling?
Bane? You're talking about like the consultant?
That's right. And John Hancock and forget.
Hey, I say do what works.
You know my name, right? Baby girl, Scarlett. The fuck? You mad? Bitch, I would have had 10 times.
Oh no, my finger slipped. I am so clumsy.
No. Why are you gonna be so rude? Butterfingers. Are we going to call?
You act like a jungle creature. You will be treated like a jungle creature, and there's like no problem. I'd like to have a conversation, but I don't know if Craig has the ability. How was your day, Debs? He's on vacay.
I just wanted to say that our next replay should definitely be philosophy. I'm casting my vote now.
John, we should also talk about home decor.
It is.
What philosophy focus would you like to see?
A lot of the international commitments. And the second thing is, it's clear to me that other than the theater in Israel, Trump is actually reducing the global footprint.
Let me see. I have to look at the results. What if I don't like any of the above? I mean,
Common option.
yeah. I'm gonna have to think about that one.
Suddenly more willing to engage directly
When
in the
Ancient's
Ukraine theater.
replays down, I'm going to put
It's
in the
not
chat.
clearly backed by evidence, right? The second possibility, which is the only other one left, is that they had made a tacit agreement with the Russians that linguistically they can offer a guarantee which Putin is willing to say that I will not violate in the short term. And having that assurance, Trump is relaying that message to the European counterparts and maybe making a gesture of the so-called security guarantee. And I think that's more credible because actually, if you're looking at the unilateral actions by the Russians, it's not clear to me they even have the appetite to actually further engage Ukraine and taking over not even the eastern part of the Kitover River. It's not clear to me that they're so interested in advancing to the Kharkiv and Sumy region, even if they could.
How are you?
Or the right bank of the Kherson region, right? They could try to do all those things, but they have not done so. And even though they have some incursions, they have not engaged in full-scale invasion from those directions. So what's likely is that there is the role of the principle of agreement that Russia gets to keep a lot of the territories, with the possibility that the security guarantee even would involve Russian troops, which is another way of saying they are trying to guarantee the neutrality of Ukraine as a condition of the halting of hostility from the Russian side. So that might be what's happening, though it's unclear to me that I think Zelensky got what he wants in terms of the dignity of having made some concessions from Trump so that he's more gracefully accepting a ceasefire, even at a loss strategically. So that's a possibility. But I think another very important thing to ask is, do Europeans actually know what they're doing, right? Do they want to position themselves in a moral position and continue to support the Ukrainians to maintain their sovereignty and territorial integrity, which, as I said, I don't think they have a very good moral standing, or they're just, without a sense of
they don't have a very good moral standing, Tiger. I don't understand that. They're concerned. I'm sure you recognize.
Yeah,
is that they're concerned, as I'm sure you recognize, is that this sets a precedence for their nation if we allow, as the world community, Russia to invade Ukraine, then potentially we have set the precedence that we're going to allow Russia to enter their sovereignty and take okay, wait, let me finish asking the question. So how can you suggest that they don't really have a moral standing on all of this? Because the same standing would apply to them as does now apply to Ukraine from their view.
No, the reason I said they don't have a moral standing is that we have seen recent events in the past that they are interpreted by many other countries. Probably not in the West, right, but most of the global South countries as hypocrites, right? And that's not going to change, even though this is.
Give me one example so folks understand what you're talking about.
Well, for example, their invasion of countries in the Western African continent, right? Their involvement in Israel, actually, they're shipping up arms to enable the Israelis. Whether you like it or not, right? From the global South point of view, in China, for example,
what nation in Europe has reached Stephen Conkin in any other country on this very subject, geopolitics? My conversation with you, Captain, how long ago was that? We're doing the right thing, which is
a few years ago.
Letting Europe stand up to Russia,
so here's the thing, right? As I said,
letting Israel stand up in the Middle East, as we should. Turning our attention to our only serious rival, potential adversary, but not really, I don't think really adversary, China. That are not, are you saying that other nations that are not Western nations, the other nations consider Europe as hypocritical, that there's not hypocrisy in their government?
Well, it doesn't matter, but what I'm saying is, you could say,
why doesn't it matter? Why doesn't it matter?
You could say that countries like China do not have a moral standing to accuse other people. which, China never positions itself to be the righteous country. China is one country, right? But what's funny is that
China has to speak out about human rights violations in other nations.
well, as a response, that's not the position of China, right? That's different.
TJ, you gotta wait your turn, sir. You have to look as to why you need
Position is the Western nation position themselves of the minority position.
Syria,
That's the argument for moral and
I
right.
have no idea what's going on in Iraq.
That's
Sure, they'll keep it in mouth.
The second thing, which is more practical,
Look at that.
is that even though Europe thinks
Positive trend.
that by stopping the Russian invasion of
Long-term
Ukraine,
geostrategic
it's safeguarding its
stability
own
or
safety.
stability.
That is also not true because
trying to speak
if you
towards-
compare the situation of Europe back in 1994, for example, or 1998, their security in terms of the buffers they have against Russians have
Well
increased,
done.
not
More
decreased.
chair monster.
Even though if
Now
they
just stop all
lose
the
the
bullshit
battlefield
and
of Ukraine,
let others speak
they
for
still
you
have a buffer state
rather
of
than
the Western
you
Ukraine.
trying to
Not to
sell
mention
your
the Baltic
bullshit
states.
to the
Not to
world.
mention that the Finnish government
Okay,
is
Tiger, I gotta let you go. You've talked way too long already, but I gotta tell you, what
I
you're
would
really,
support a
really,
Nobel
really
Peace
good
Prize
at,
if he pulls
really
this off.
good at, and I have to congratulate you, is to redirect the discussion from the discussion at hand to talk about all of the horrible things
Anson, did you
the
hear
Western
Ann
world,
Coulter's interview with the trigonometry
democracies of the world
host?
stand for.
No,
So
I
you
did not.
use any discussion that we are having.
How do you
to
feel
redirect
about
our
Ann
attention
Coulter?
to that. And you're good
I
at it.
thought, I've
You're very
always
good
thought
at it.
Ann
And so I
Coulter
give you
was
credit for it,
borderline
but
wingnut.
enough
I
is
haven't
enough.
seen anything
Howard, are you
of her.
there or are you on the phone?
So see, sometimes I laugh, but
I think Howard's on the phone. Meryl, you got my irony before with Marshall. Would you like to explain it to him?
Of course I can. He has, in the first place, sarcasm is practically never wasted.
She's a non-entity that in
I think it
2015,
takes more energy
2016, the
not to
spring,
be sarcastic in certain
she was
things. And I
asked on a
think that with
liberal
regard to
stage,
Trump
I
and
don't know
his
what
wars and
stage it
nuclear
was,
war,
nor Mike.
what did I write? I think I
Who
said
do
that
you
the only
see
war I
of
can
the
imagine so far
Republican
that he resolved
nominees
is
right
got rid of,
now who
Donald
would
Trump
be
Jr.'s
president?
fiance.
And she said,
Because he got
Donald Trump. And everybody
not.
laughed at her.
I think that is just
And
ridiculous.
then
But
he
Right,
became
just put it in perspective now. Today, during
So,
this gaggle, he
I
said
think
that
calling
he
her a
has
wingnut,
stopped
if she's
6
accurate,
he resolved
might be not
6
generous. But
So,
you can.
and I'm thinking, what? Huh? What? And then you wrote out exactly what I was thinking.
I tend to gravitate a little
I
bit
just,
more towards the center.
like I said, sometimes it takes more
Unapologetically,
energy not to be sarcastic.
unapologetically fiery.
Yeah.
It really does. I think sarcasm
And I like
is an appropriate way to respond
In
to him,
moderation.
and it's not wasted. Now, Scott asked a question about, or
So-
brought up the fact that there are many
She was
people who are pro-Russia, and he wondered about that. And you kind of, we hinted about it, talked about it a little bit, just hinted at it.
lack of knowledge.
I think everybody has to look at it in a bigger picture. These are MAGA people. Trump was always pro-Russia. His introduction to them, their introduction, their meeting him in 2016 was that he was pro-Russia. He never, he's always been. And these are some of the MAGA people, are people who he appealed to, had nothing to do with politics. He appealed to Mexico, paying for the wall, different things. And then they all of a sudden now attach themselves to whatever he says and whatever he believes. And there's no way for anybody to perceive, in my opinion, Trump as ever being anything but pro-Russia. So I have an issue with that. Regarding all the people that came with him today, this is people. Zelensky armed himself with people who know what they're talking about. These aren't people that are real estate investors that were talking to Putin. These are people that know their stuff. They know what they're talking about. And they know the commitment they're going to have to make. But they also are smart enough to know whether we can trust Trump. So Trump, what he did with Putin the other day, that is not. If anybody thinks that giving him that hero's moment when he is a war criminal,
do you
that's
think that
not,
they're going to make
that's That's
Do you think that
Putin
number
laughing
one,
at him.
Ukraine would
That's just a
agree,
laugh.
and
It really is.
number two,
I
that
don't
Russia
know.
would settle for? I think it's honestly a terrible idea for Russia to keep everything that they've captured thus far.
And I thought
They've got all
worst,
those natural
to top it off,
resources.
Even the land that he
public.
took
He also
during
gave me
Obama's presidency.
but he also
It's a
put in.
bad idea.
He
to
had his own
there's just no
vehicles
point
there.
in keeping this war going.
Putin did.
As many people
Why
have
in the
described
world
it
would
as a
Trump
meat
put him
grinder.
in the beast?
Somebody mentioned to me
I
that they were
just
losing 20,000
everything
people a
about
week.
what Trump did
I
showed
don't know
me
if this is Russians
he's
or Ukrainians or both.
I
Trump
should
said
use the word
today
ignorant.
Russia was
When it
losing
comes
5,000
to
people.
negotiations,
Yeah, and
and
I don't know
what
about
he's talking
Ukraine.
about, it was already
Somebody was saying
preconceived. It was
20,000.
already a
I don't know how
done
accurate
deal. He was
that
going to give
That's an
Putin
exaggeration.
pretty much what Putin wanted.
All right.
And
Well, it's a lot of
he
people.
just didn't gauge
It's a meat
the response that he was going to
Yeah.
get
But
from the world.
serendipity,
He did not,
I
even
believe,
Fox, I think,
unless you
didn't
want
support
NATO to go to
how
war
he
with
was a
Russia,
big difference. And we
relinquishment
have to
of
see
land
what is actually
currently won on the
memorialized in
battlefield by
writing.
Russia.
What is the agreement? Not what does somebody
If
say on the
Ukraine-
Sunday shows.
It will take a
Is the agreement.
referendum
What
for the
is the
people of
agreement
Ukraine
that
to
is
agree.
memorialized? I cannot stress
I
that
also
enough.
saw an
That is a
interesting
legal
poll
binding agreement.
on
Now,
Fox
do we ever trust Trump
that
to
in
do something like he
2022,
has said he's going to do? I'm not sure on this one. I
79%
want
of
to see this
Ukraine
one,
said
how this
fight
one lays
until
out.
we win.
I also think that Putin
And
will wait 3 years
20% or
and
whatever said
take a
peace
chance
now.
on who's
That
going to
has
be the
been
president in 3 years.
Recently
So
turned on
I
its head,
just,
where
this whole
almost
thing,
80%
I'm holding my
say
breath. I think it is so horrible.
we have
But I'm
to
glad that
ceize
Zelensky
land,
came. I
and
didn't
we
even
need
care
peace
about the
now,
suit. He made a
essentially,
real good point when he
at
came there. He
almost
said,
any
I
price,
promised everybody I
and
wouldn't wear a
only
suit till
20%
the war
say
was over,
keep
till my
fighting
people weren't
until
fighting
we
a war.
win.
I have no problem.
So I don't know,
So he
how
wore
a
a suit, but
referendum
he
would
brought
go.
people with
Yeah.
him,
And there's no,
people who knew
there's
they
no
needed to go
rationality
because they
to
knew,
believe
they
that
saw the direction
Russia
Trump was
would
going.
retreat
And they want to make sure
to pre-
that Trump
2014
understands there are people in
And I
this
think that's-
world
we
who
can
know what
moralize
they're
all we
talking
want to
about.
about it, and we
And
could
Trump
be
doesn't.
morally correct in demanding
I'm sorry.
that they do
Thank
so.
you.
But that
I was
that
thinking.
has no
I was thinking.
reality in the real world. It ain't just
I was thinking. I
happen
think that's
without
talking something.
overwhelming
I was
contribution
thinking when
of
the president
conventional military
said I
power
was
against
all
Russia
6 wars,
by NATO.
and it just everybody's
Right.
thinking, okay, this is just
Correct. I don't know. I think
because
not
that's how
only
Trump
economically
is.
for Ukraine, but
He tends
giving
to
Russia
move
control
more
of the Black
hyperbole,
Sea, giving Russia control of all of
because
those
it suits them.
resources, they're
But he
going to
said
control a
these
lot of
things,
the
and
energy
he talked
for
about
all
other
of
things,
Europe, and
including,
I just don't know that that's a good idea either.
Russia
National
has
Guard
control of
troops
the
in
Black
Washington
Sea
and how in 2
right
days
now, war
crime has ended in Washington because of him.
of the
He
Black
speaks
Sea,
with a
even
degree of
Sevastopol
seriousness,
has
and I don't know
always
whether
been a
that's an
major
act
Russian base
or whether
in
he
the
really
Black Sea,
believes
and
this.
even when it was
It's
owned by
interesting to
Ukraine as a
try to
result of
analyze
the
that.
1991
But can you imagine
treaty that
if
established
the
Ukraine
previous president of the United States
Russia has
sat in
always
the
had
Oval Office with
Sevastopol
world leaders
and
and declared, I resolved
so
6
Russia's
wars?
always controlled the Black Sea.
Well,
And that's never
the
really
people
been
were going
contested by
crazy
anybody
that
other
once
than
again,
perhaps Turkey, and
Joe
Turkey
Biden,
didn't have
he's
the
losing
Navy
more
to be able to
marbles.
make
It's just unbelievable that this guy can say it, and nobody
So the
says
model
he's
is
losing his
like,
marbles. Maybe he
Korea.
isn't. And maybe
Sorry.
Biden did, or maybe Biden
South
didn't
Korea,
lose some
by
of his
the way,
marbles
there's
along
arms
the way. I don't know. But
maybe we're looking
but the way
Yeah,
you
but-
see, again, you're having real trouble restraining yourself. I don't understand why, but you have to wait until we get to you.
And so
if you
look
keep
at how
interrupting,
South Korea has
we'll
prospered.
remove you
They've
from
never
the stage.
really
These are the rules.
heeded the land of North
So,
Korea, but
I
meanwhile,
just find
they've
that really
developed
interesting.
magnificently. They're like a Western nation.
We
Same as Japan is
we
like a
treat
Western
our
nation, by the
respect
way.
or our
And
response
Ukraine is not really a part
to
of Europe, and
this
that is
president
an incredibly
when he makes these phone
corrupt and
calls.
sort of
Remember, he
dysfunctional
said on 3 different occasions
kleptocracy.
publicly
So
he
all
was
that
going
could
to
change. They
Russia
could
to
really
meet
join
with
Europe.
Putin
They
when
could
it was
really
Alaska.
get
And we all say,
protection
well,
agreement.
he just
And they can
misspoke
become
himself,
a
which we all
Western
do.
nation if this is what
But
they want.
Biden
They can
never would have
sort
said
of join the
that.
West.
Thank you, That would be
Merrill,
a big win
and
for
will
them.
now go to
Even though they lost this war, they can win the peace.
Hi, Gary. Hi, Marshall. Want to know Mariel? Gary, how are you today?
I am good, but I'm getting better.
How do you over?
Thank you very much. Is the person now important?
How do you?
I think that the most pressure is on President Zelensky as a patriot, giving up
a way to
land,
have a rational agreement with people with
for
moral
Russia,
horrors of war,
just for peace.
and yet are
I
unable
think that
to grasp the reality that human beings
finally
have been
accept
settling big disputes
the
for what,
suggestion
70,000 years
of President
and
Trump.
counting. And how do you
Something here
how do you achieve
very shocked me that
geostrategic stability?
why President Trump clapped in Alaska.
I wouldn't go out on a limb and say that the
I
simple
think
fact
that
we have not had a
when
nuclear war since
when you are presenting the land to Russia, there is no need to clap
says
for
something
Putin.
about geostrategy today without unity today without
We
overlying
or
provided by
the
American
Western
to a small
authority
European nuclear weapons. That's a
must
philosophical debate.
gain advantage.
Okay. Nice.
Hey, David,
So
you got a
in
hot
chat,
mic.
you will see at this timestamp, whatever it is,
Yes.
when we end this room.
Must gain
And
more
some replays
advantages,
from
more
earlier. It was short and
privileges
sweet, about a 30-minute room.
from President
Covered the
Putin
highlights and our
when
hopes
you are
for a positive
presenting
outcome.
1/5
I know Friday,
territorial
Norm, you
integrity
were
of
kind of annoyed and irritated too
Ukraine to
by
Russia.
the lack of information coming out.
So, Mr. Trump rightly, has asked them to have NATO.
If they don't, or xenophobic,
European
if
part of
they
NATO
prefer
do
to
its,
have
part
someone from America who's been here for a couple of generations serve as leader of our country, there's cultural concerns that she said that I don't feel embarrassed saying that I have cultural concerns, and so they pushed her hard, and they should have, because it is an ugly thing to say, and I think she held up well under the scrutiny, and I was glad that they pushed her.
Within living memory too. And I may disagree with some of the things that Ann Coulter used to say in the past, but I have always admired her. She sure as hell has a bucket full of that.
Exactly right.
Sure. She's like my deceased wife. You don't want to cross them.
Nice. Glad that you had a not boring wife, Anthony. I think you were probably well matched.
Is allowed to keep any meanings. Well matched. I was overpowered.
Oh no. Hey Nav, how are you?
Good, how are you?
New account or the same
It's
account?
good. It's good.
Blessed and highly favored.
Choose another time. If they want to get the Balkans back, ask people from Finland.
What's going on, Serendipity? What's going on, man?
Hey David, how are you?
Good, doing well.
They're actually.
How's the princess?
Oh, she's great. Just robbing my wallet now, so it's all good.
Yep, that's what they do. That's what they do.
She's like, now she's still got it halfway in that toy phase, so she goes, she's getting the toy. She goes, you know what? I'm gonna be buying from Sephora later, so you'll replace the toys with the stuff from Sephora. I was like, great. And she has all this money that my father gives her whenever he sees her. And I'm like, all right, why don't you pay? And then she starts crying, like, why should I pay? Why should I'm like, wait a minute, you've got like $6,000-7,000 saved up. She goes, I'm saving for something big. I'm like, but like, I'm spending all this money. At least spend 100, 200, something. She's like, no. I'm saving for something. I'm like, oh my God.
Do we have the same job? raise issues.
Yeah, it's crazy, man.
And so fast. And I don't say things that I
she's she's going to second grade next year, so she's like, oh, I'm gonna get a backpack. Like, your backpack's totally fine.
And I find out that you're actually
Stanley's. I'm like, what the hell? Stanley's a glorified coffee mug. It's like walnuts. Like, what the hell's over for so long? She's like, oh, it's another bottle. It's for water. A bottle's good, doesn't matter what bottle you use. It's ridiculous, though.
Rather than
why am I spending money on this question
about my feelings about what you just said. Today,
that's like ridiculous.
And I had to refresh my
now I understand why people went for these young age marriages. Not that I would have said, and become someone else's problem.
His own words, the reason he killed Bobby Kennedy was because Kennedy supported.
Oh my God, serendipity is pushing for child molestation and all that. I mean, can you believe it?
And in the chat, we're just leaving about folks. And with that, we are now at 5:57.
Excuse me, Cash, if you're listening, serendipity, content.
We're at the top of the hour. Which is now, I guess, going to extra time so that everyone on the stage gets an opportunity to speak. We now move along to Frank.
All right.
We got nothing.
Good night, everybody. It's midnight over here in Germany. Kitover is west of. Of course.
Naveen, I'm wondering if I can convince you to donate to the campaign to elect John Kitover. I've partnered with Ann today. We're going to unite her walkaway movement with the campaign to elect John. Naveen, are you interested in making a donation to the campaign today?
Is this true?
John, what are you running for?
The 16th district in Illinois for Congress against Darren LaHood, a rhino vaccinologist, super debt creator.
Wait, I heard that Adams is going for LaHood.
Correct. Dr. Adams is a treacherous femboy on this app, and he has joined with the LaHood campaign to fight me. But we are going to defeat both of those dragons.
Who's the Republican?
Darren LaHood, and I'm running as a Republican against Darren in the primary. We need your petition signature financial support now. Primary guy John. That's the right name.
Okay. Interesting. Yeah. Sure. Is it a? Just be direct with me. Is it a red? Like by supporting you, is it or supporting any Republican? Is it a district that can be won, or is it like something that's always been blue, but we're hoping to flip it?
No, it's always been red, but it could be flipped by a Democrat. You never really know. But this guy Darren has $12 million in the bank. We've got $520 from Clubhouse. Well, we need your shekels. You get a lot of federal Navy contracts. We need you to help pass around a couple clown house shekels, help the campaign. We're fighting Darren LaHood, the dragon. And if Dr. Adams is supporting him, I think it's a good bet to bet on John, not Dr. Adams. Thank you.
Monica. Are we ending this and starting a new one or what?
Russia from taking territory from Ukraine
Hello?
for the first time.
I think the latter.
No, she stepped away from her phone.
Yeah, I know that's an academic question.
This is so weird.
Considering.
You're gonna let this room just, everybody's gonna be having a grand time, talking, sharing about who you dare to go where in the mall.
Well, we put them, the world community, including the United States, put them in that position because we convinced them to give up their nuclear arsenal in exchange for a guarantee that they would not be invaded. And then they were invaded once, and now they're invaded a second time. And there are people saying, well, too bad. It's a fait accompli. We shouldn't be giving him arms to protect himself. To me, this is kind of like...
I don't know who you're talking about.
Alice in the Looking Glass, right? It's like, by what measure does this make any sense? But people say with a straight face, Russia invade and Scotland. I don't get it. Maybe I'm missing something. Thank you, Frank. And now we go to the gentleman who's always a delight on the stage, who now is using the nickname Congressman in the anticipation of his tremendous victory and becoming a congressman representing the great state of Illinois. John, it's all yours.
Hey, Gary, thanks for having me up. That's correct. I am running in the 16th District of Illinois versus Darren LaHood, a rhinologist, vaccinologist, super debt creator. And I put some queries into Grok that I'd like to share with you to help summarize the past 72 hours of Donald Trump, Vladimir Putin, and Zelensky, as well as what type of weapon systems and soldiers might be deployed to Ukraine in the event that a security guarantee is made. So this is the past 72 hours. Trump met with Putin on 8/16, urged no ceasefire needed, pushed Zelensky on 8/18 in a White House meeting with the EU to cede Crimea, drop NATO, accept land swaps for peace, offered U.S. security guarantees, plans trilateral talks. Zelensky seeks guarantees, rejects concessions the next 30 days. Trilateral meeting by early September. Possible prisoner release and ceasefire. Full deal elusive due to territorial disputes, but U.S. pressure may yield Ukrainian compromises. This is the next query. Hey, Grok, if the U.S. gives Ukraine security guarantees and deploys U.S. soldiers to Ukraine, what are the top 10 most likely weapon systems and U.S. military units to deploy to Kiev and other areas of Ukraine? In a hypothetical U.S. deployment to Ukraine for security guarantees, focusing on defense and Kyiv and key regions, the top 10 most likely weapon systems and units based on expert analysis like RAND reports would be Patriot air defense systems, HIMARS rocket artillery, F-35 stealth fighters, Abrams tanks, Apache attack helicopters, the 82nd Airborne Division, the 101st Airborne Division, the 10th Mountain Division, Special Forces Groups, and Air Defense Artillery Brigades. So as a candidate congressman running in Illinois who believes we should cut the National Defense Authorization Act and our national military industrial complex by $200 billion a year, I am against the U.S. sending any soldiers or military equipment and any additional funding to Ukraine. And I hope that these trilateral talks over the next 30 days can bring peace. Thanks, Gary. I hope that was complete.
Thank you, John. That was probably an accurate assessment by Grok, but I just want to point out that today, Les, you're going to love this. I asked Grok, did Sirhan assassinate Robert F. Kennedy because of his support for Israel? And Grok's response was, Robert F. Kennedy was not assassinated. So in this case, I guess Grok may have been spot on, but folks, be very careful about simply relying on AI to get our responses. AI is a good starting point, but they don't always show the resources. You know, there's no footnote, no link to the resources. And when there is, you should click on those and then make your own assessments on whether you accept the veracity of the resources to which they are referring the AI programs before quoting it. And if they don't show the reference, ask a follow-up question. What's your reference for your response? And make the program tell you. Because it's really, really dangerous to just accept it at face value. In this case, listening carefully to what John was saying, I think it was pretty accurate. David, TJN, Daniel, and Howard will get the last word.
Hey, Gary, I'm not sure if it matters either, but Sirhan was also an Orthodox Christian Palestinian.
Yeah, he was a Christian Palestinian, yeah.
So, I don't know if you know that either. Yeah, I think the first summit with Putin in Alaska, Gary, clearly highlighted the driver's seat that Putin finds himself in. And, you know, the more time that he's bought from Trump with regard to the fact that they didn't even really arrive at anything. It was an ops campaign by Putin. We've let Putin back into the sunlight of Western nations, validating his position as the premier leader of Russia and everything he's done in Ukraine. So we sort of have given him that win, and his Russian media has lapped this up, and far from painting him as the pariah, he's seen more as a national hero now than ever. If the media is to be believed over there. So he's got the wind in his sails. Zelensky's on the ropes. If this was a prize fight, we'd have to come up with something quick for Zelensky. Putin's always, Gary, as you know, even he championed this manifesto that he wrote in the run-up to his invasion of Ukraine, where he basically sees Ukraine as a Russian asset, part of the Russian Empire, going back centuries. He sees Ukraine as well as the other Baltic nations, I think, as well, that fall under the NATO umbrella. So the fact that he's buying time, he's really seeing, I think he has his sights on the whole country, not just these border disputes or these areas that he wants in the negotiations. So I think if we look at his writings and his intent, he's not going to stop until he gobbled up every last piece of that country. And I think he wants to get Zelensky out of the way. I think the longer Zelensky languishes with this war unresolved, his popularity may dwindle where he may be replaced. Who knows? Which would be bad for the country, because I think he's fought valiantly given the resources that we've provided and the heroic effort that his country has waged against invasion. But the other thing I want to bring up, Gary, and I've heard it argued that if Trump isn't further sanctioning Putin in a way that would cause real pain to his country, and clearly this has not been a free ride for Putin at all, irrespective of the military economy that his country's enjoyed. There's a loss of manpower, the million plus victims of this war, plus the injuries. But it's argued that Trump's finance crypto company, led by Steve Witkoff's son, Zach Witkoff, and his son, Eric, World Liberty Finance, is being used as a shell to receive compensation from dictators, world leaders, and the like. And some have argued that Trump is being bought off via crypto, where he's able to leverage the influence of the White House. And it's very difficult to prove because we can't trace the money. We can't trace the transactions. And so it's very difficult to see who's buying influence and at what level with Trump and at what cost. We know that his fortunes have been enriched to the tune of about $2.4 billion with this crypto scheme that has been set up. And so is he being bought? Is he being bought by Putin, and at what level? Now, what else explains the level of cajoling and fun, creating this meetup with Putin as some sort of reunion of sorts between two great powers, fully ignoring the press, the cacophony of press questions that were being leveled at him and Putin regarding when is the killing going to stop? And of course, they might have thrown in there, when are you going to return the orphans, the lost, the children, as you alluded to in your opening salvo. So anyway, Putin's got a lot going for him with this war so far. Trump is not helping the Ukrainian cause. I think giving this summit with the European leaders and Zelensky, while it looks more serious in the first go around, where he was basically embarrassed in the White House by Vance and Trump with the questions that they threw at him. We'll see. I think if anything, the glove's got to come off economically with the sanctions, and we'll see where that goes. I'll land there.
Thank you, David. We'll next go to TJN, and I'll preface it by thanking you for your patience and adherence to the rules. You're up, TJN.
Thank you very much, Gary. Thank you for giving me the floor. Well, where do we start? Okay, we start with the visit at Anchorage. Well, I find it quite ironic that Trump invited Putin in the former Russian territory, which was hilarious. And it was quite badass from the United States to give Putin the awesome show of force of the United States Air Force. That was cool. It's quite customary to welcome world leaders like that. I think it's something which Trump copied from the Saudi Arabians. They've been welcoming Putin and leaders from the United States exclusively in such a manner. And yeah, well, the military parade the United States tried to do wasn't the best, to be honest. But in terms of trying to get its prestige back, in that regard, the air show of the P-2 bombers and the F-35s, I gave 5 out of 5. Well done. In terms of the whole, there should be concessions and stuff like that, that's not really going to happen. Look, and I don't understand why is it a bad thing for Trump to have good relations with its partner, its neighbor, Russia? Because I think from my point of view, from the global south point of view, isn't it a good thing to have superpowers, to have dialogue and talk instead of touching each other's toes? Because the less we touch each other's toes, the more cooperation, peace and harmony and actual economic growth of all respective countries involved would be net positive than actually touching each other's toes.
So we actually have the Cold War. Therefore, that would be a crime. They've articulated it. They have this. They have a reasonable cause to ask me for my ID that I have to produce. I have a choice because I possibly committed a crime. They just can't randomly go to strangers and go, "Need your ID?"
And she made a lot of money from the book too. And the book wasn't the Torah, remember? Actually, it was completely different.
Did somebody say Torah?
Oh, God.
Torah. We're going to teach us some Torah? Torah time.
Wow, a room finally where Palestinians are thankful for the IDF liberating them from the Islamic jihadist terrorists that have destroyed their civilization. Wow, I'm so happy to finally be in the final summary room of this multi-year war. This is fantastic. Ribono Shel Olam.
Yeah, look at the video yourself.
IDF.
Baruch Hashem.
Yeah, Baruch Hashem. I'm a sheikh in the IDF.
You're a sheikh?
Yep, and I'm in the IDF.
Nice.
B'nai Aliyah. B'nai Aliyah. It's my favorite new word of the day. B'nai Aliyah.
What does it mean?
It's the higher levels of intelligence.
Interesting. Okay. Never heard about it.
Can you speak Arabic, by the way?
It's in the Tanya. El Norma read about it today.
صح.
كيف حالك حبيبتي؟
منيحة أنت كيف؟
Pennywise, did you hear El Normo reading the Tanya today, Pennywise?
No, I did not hear that.
Oh, it was beautiful. El Normo, tell them about the magnificent Torah you read.
I don't know what to say. It was just, it was a perfect selection. You invited me to do it, and it changed my day, no doubt about it.
I think Brad down there should probably listen to some of the Tanya, because he's got a lot of anger issues I think he's got to deal with.
Guys, should we read about Lamech in Genesis, the first polygamist? And
Congress, do you have like 17 iPhones in that PTO on tripods?
You're correctly looking at the PTR. That is the photo that you are viewing. Correct.
Is that how you're doing all those streaming services?
Yeah, Congress definitely works on the Mossad.
Because I
Does anyone here know what the word Mossad means in English? It means supreme intelligence.
If it means supreme intelligence, I should be working there.
No, it is.
That's it. They should be calling me up.
Well, you're in something called Clown House. This is a circus tent. There's no supreme intelligence here. This is a clown university. Look at Pennywise. She's one of our clown applicants. And look how well she's responding to the circus tent.
She's a Mossad agent. Yeah, look at her.
And a Palestinian.
That's right. And Lebanese.
And Lebanese.
We have Hizb Shaitan from one side.
That's right, man. She used to work for Hezbollah and then she got fired.
What do you think of that photo?
أنا أشوف توماس وتزوان.
That's not me, Normie.
يعني فيلم لذيذ جدا. Remember that part?
There is no B.
It was